Hello and welcome to CBSE with Sudhir, where we are going to do the second chapter of the civics portion of social science for students of CBSE class 6. And what's this called? This is called Grassroots Democracy, and this is being done in 3 parts as per your textbook. It is done, first is the overall picture, the second one deals with the rural governance, and the third chapter deals with the urban governance. So these are the 4 chapters. The first chapter video on family and community, मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि आपने ऑलरेडी देख लिया है वो वीडियो. ओके, सो सीबीएसई विद सुधीर पर ग्रासरूट्स डेमोक्रेसी का पहला चैप्टर लेट्स नाउ डू as per the thing. It is 3 plus 3 6 plus 8 9 10, the 10th chapter in your textbook. Okay, so I have prepared some brief kind of notes with photographs to help you understand better. एक और बात बता दो, आप इन सभी को और डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे आई थिंक इन क्लास 9. ओके, सो इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड इट वेल टुडे, यू विल बी एबल टू ब्रीथ फ्रीली, ब्रीथ इजीली व्हेन यू आर इन क्लास 9. दूसरी बात, आई कैन टेल यू एक्सप्लेन दिस विद द हेल्प ऑफ अ लॉट ऑफ एग्जांपल्स, जिससे कि आपको ये पूरा चैप्टर इजी भी पड़ेगा, इंटरेस्टिंग भी पड़ेगा. Because many students, because you don't really have the newspaper reading habit these days, you don't quite understand the models of governance. You don't understand how politics is done in this country. और ये मैंने 30 साल politics के ऊपर लिखा है, 30 से ज्यादा साल. So in that sense, I know this is like मेरे बाएं हाथ का खेल. Okay, so this is the chapter Grassroots Democracy Part 1, Governance. So it starts with a quote from the Mahabharata. And there is no peace without justice, no justice without equality. Now these are important words. Peace matlab shanti, justice matlab न्याय. And there it says that कोई न्याय without equality नहीं है, यानी कि हम सब बराबर के हैं. That is, if and बराबरी कैसे देखते हैं उसका एक उदाहरण देता हूं. I'll give you an example to tell you how we are all equal. One, irrespective of religion, irrespective of caste, irrespective of creed, irrespective of social or economic status, we are all considered equal as per the Constitution of India. Also, please remember that if I am casting a vote, the value of my one vote is the same as the value of, let's say, your parents' vote, is same as the value of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vote, is the same as the value of the leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi's vote. So all vote का value एक ही रहता है. There is no difference based on कि कौन से position पर है. Okay. No equality without development. You need to development. No democracy without respect to the identity and dignity of cultures and people. That democracy is what, and that's what we are going to study in this chapter today. Democracy is when the people of a particular region have the power to decide what is to be done for you. For example, you are in a class, let's say, of 30 students. Okay, you have to, the teacher decides, I will not nominate that so and so will be the monitor of the class. No, that will not be the way it will happen. We will conduct an election for the post of monitor. So there are, let's say, 3 candidates, 3 students, student A, student B, student C, are interested in becoming the monitor. They are given, let's say, 4 days to campaign. The campaign meaning they go to every student and say, please vote for me. If I become monitor, I will do this. The candidates also understand, okay, students को ये चाहिए, okay, और मैं अगर elect हुआ तो ये सब मैं करूंगा. So they canvass, they campaign, and after 4 days, the election is held by secret ballot. That is, in a box, you go and cast whether I want candidate A, candidate B, or candidate C. And let's assume candidate B gets the maximum number of votes. He or she is elected as the class monitor. This is an example of democracy in action inside your classroom. That inside your classroom, you elect your class monitor who will be your representative in a democratic manner through an election. Okay, I hope आपको समझ में आ गया with the help of this example. Now let's move, let's go through the introduction. Let me just see इसमें और क्या है, next में क्या है. Okay, this is the Use this hashtag whenever you have to talk about any doubt. Social science with Sudhir sir. Okay. Now we will come to this in a bit. पहले ये पढ़ते हैं. Now human beings have been living in communities. We've already talked about communities in the previous chapter, chapter number 9. For a long time, when a large number of people live together, there can be disagreements and disorder. For example, you live in an apartments complex. Apartment के complex में रहते हैं. Let's say there are 20 flats in your apartment complex. Now, I'll give you an example of my own building. A few years back, there was a proposal to repaint the exterior of the building. अभी color है, I mean, पहले भी वही था, बाद में वही हुआ. Anyway, it's of a biscuit kind of a color. Okay, light, not pinkish, but you know the biscuit kind of color and a bit of brown. So there was this kind of vote put as to how many. We have 14 flats. How many want pista green color, white color, or the same color as biscuit green. So there were few of us who wanted pista green color, but the majority wanted the same old color of biscuit color to be retained. So since they were in a majority, that color was chosen as the overall color, right? So there can be disagreement. Now I cannot say that अरे मैं खुश नहीं हूं, मेरा वाला दीवार green में होना चाहिए, okay? Or the person on the first floor who also wanted pista green, even he cannot say that मेरा वाला दीवार होना चाहिए. Then you will find that the building will look like one ugly rainbow where you know different colors are there at different levels. ऐसा नहीं होता ना. It has to be of a uniform color. So there can be disagreement between people. It can even lead to disorder. If somebody says, like somebody says in the building, I will not pay the maintenance money. Why? Because the watchman did not open the gate on time, so I will not pay the maintenance. That can lead to disorder. Somebody else will say, what nonsense? ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. Watchman ने time पे नहीं खोला. It doesn't mean that you refuse to pay the maintenance money. So there can be disorder. So in order to ensure that you know these disagreements, these disorders are sorted out properly, rules become necessary to maintain order and harmony in the society. So there is a charter of laws and rules for everything. Like for example, let's take an example of your classroom only. Your monitor or your class teacher can make a rule saying that the let's say there is this designated area where you have to eat your lunch. You cannot eat the lunch in the laboratory. Your school principal can make a rule. You cannot eat lunch on the podium in the assembly hall. Okay. You cannot eat lunch. You cannot eat anything in the library, right? Or in the auditorium. You know, certain rules can be made that these are the list of you can do this, you cannot do this. These is do's, these are don'ts. Do's and don'ts ka list maskte. They will be known as rules. You know, these are the rules which have been made, and everyone is expected, be it students in a school or residents in an apartment complex, are expected, and it can apply to the entire country. Citizens in the entire country are expected to follow these rules. So, जैसे traffic rule होता है. What is a traffic rule? When there is a red light, you have to stop at the stop line. है ना? Only when it goes to green, you move your vehicle ahead. है ना? मालूम है ना ये आपको? So, those are traffic rules which you have to obey. Now, there are probably some simple rules at home that you are expected to follow. The school where you study has rules too. Some for students, others for teachers. For example, you have to wear a uniform. कि आपको uniform पहनना पड़ेगा. अगर tie पहनना है तो tie पहनना पड़ेगा. If the skirt has to be of a certain length, the skirt should be of that length. If you have to wear a belt, your belt has to be proper, not torn at different places. So the socks have to be of a uniform color, right? So all these rules have been framed by your school management, and all the students are expected to follow the same. Similarly, teachers के लिए हो सकता है, in some schools there is a dress code, in some schools it's okay, but generally you're supposed to maintain a certain decorum, right? Drivers on the road are expected to obey traffic rules. Students appearing for examination must follow certain rules. You're not supposed to cheat. You're not supposed to talk once the bell rings and you're supposed to start writing your paper. People employed in all kinds of jobs also need to follow the rules. है ना? ये सब, I mean, in every office, in order to ensure that there is decorum, that the productivity is good, there are rules which are set by the employer. Like it can be said, कि you have to enter the office by 9 o'clock. अगर तुम 9:30 तक आओगे तो तुम्हारा हाफ डे का सैलरी कटेगा. ऐसा भी होता है कई सारे दफ्तरों में. So you have to follow the rules so that it's absolute. Like I know, like in IIMs etc. में, if you are even 1 minute late to the classroom, you will be marked absent, even though you will be allowed to attend the class, but you will not get the attendance for that class, right? So there are some institutions which are very strict about attendance. Like in board examination, you need to have minimum 75% attendance in order to appear for the board examination in class 10 and class 12. The employers must also follow rules which they have committed to their employees. Now, describe the two pictures given in figure 10.1 on page 151. How do ये कौन सा है? Okay, next page पे है. Now, who makes the rules and why? How are they made? These are some of the questions that we will explore in this chapter. Now, अभी यहाँ पर look at these three things: governance, government, and laws. Okay, what is the difference between the three? Now, you see the process of taking decisions, यानी कि जो निर्णय लेने की जो पूरी प्रक्रिया है, हिंदी में बोलूं तो, you know, the entire process of taking a decision, that the building has to be painted in this color, that is a decision. How do you arrive at a decision? Through discussion or through a vote. That is the process of taking the decision. Organizing the society's life with different set of rules. So we have decided that we will decide on anything which is about the common area through consensus, यानी कि सब लोग सोच के, अगर 14 लोग हैं तो अगर 8 लोग एक तरफ हैं, दूसरी तरफ 6 भी हैं, तो मेजॉरिटी व्यू विल प्रिवेल. जो मेजॉरिटी है दैट विल डिसाइड कि क्या होना चाहिए, एंड द अदर पीपल who are not in agreement, they will have to obey, because the majority view is that it should be of this color. And ensuring that they are followed is called governance. So the entire process of taking decisions is called governance. Okay, governance is about how you entirely run a particular unit. It can be a building society, it can be a classroom, it can be a school, it can be the state, it can be the entire country. Okay. So what Narendra Modi as Prime Minister is doing is called governance. Okay, he follows the process of taking decisions. And how does he do that? By being part of the government. The group of individuals or the system that makes the rules and ensures that they are followed is called a government. Okay, so Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister is part of the government. Okay, and what he does is called governance. That is the process of taking decisions. So what he is doing is the process of taking decisions, and what he is part of is the government. Okay, so ये दोनों definitions आपको अच्छी तरह से याद होने चाहिए. तीसरा, some of the more important rules are called laws. I'll tell you very briefly without confusing you. होता क्या है, सरकार के लेवल पे देखता हूं, सेंटर पे, I am Narendra Modi, I want to bring a particular law, I want to bring some changes. Okay, so I will tell my concerned minister, let's say on industry pe I want to bring in a new industry law. So what I do is that I tell the industries minister that you draft a bill. It is called a bill. Pehle bill aata hai. Okay, so bill aata hai, and then it is framed with the IAS officers and the minister, and then it is presented in the Lok Sabha, in parliament. Okay, jiske bare mein padhenge. In parliament, then the government has the number, so the bill is passed, and then it becomes an act which is called the law. So then whatever is to be done, let's say we will not allow child labor in our industries, let's say that's a law which is being made, so that's a law. So uske baad agar koi, so that is the process of taking decisions, is called governance. So what the Prime Minister and the industries minister are doing together is called governance. Okay, so uske baad if anybody is found employing any child as labor in his factory, फिर उसको जेल में डाल सकते हैं, उसके अगेंस्ट केस कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज ये एक नियम बन गया है कि हम किसी भी तरह के बाल मजदूर को अपने फैक्ट्री वगैरह में एम्प्लॉय नहीं करेंगे. तो ये नियम बना दिया है पूरे देश में, और पूरे देश में वो तमिलनाडु हो, केरला हो या पंजाब हो, हरियाणा हो, सभी जगह पर उसका पालन करना पड़ेगा, उसको फॉलो करना पड़ेगा. समझ में आ गई यहां तक बात? तो ये तो हो गई लॉज की बात, गवर्नेंस की बात, गवर्नमेंट की बात. मैं बहुत धीरे से और डिटेल में बता रहा हूं ताकि इसके बारे में आपको कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं होना चाहिए. नाउ This does not mean that all rules and laws are set once and for all. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक बार ही बना दिया तो उसमें कुछ फेरबदल हो नहीं सकता है. कई बारी होता यह है कि उसमें फेरबदल होता है, क्योंकि जो हमारा संविधान था, our constitution was adopted in 1950. From 1950 till now in 2024, lots of changes have taken place, right? At that time, there were no computers, there were no mobile phones. So you need to make laws for all these new things. At that time, when B.R. Ambedkar and team framed the Constitution of India in 1950, 1950, all these things were not there. So with the changing times, you have to keep on adjusting these laws, rewriting these laws, adopting new laws and rules. So all that, so it's a very dynamic kind of process. Okay. Just as you might discuss a particular rule at home with your parents, or as a student body might ask the school, like for instance, at home, your parents may make a rule that, you have to come home by 7 o'clock. After 7 o'clock, not allowed. You have to come home by 7 o'clock. When you grow up a little, now you're in 6th class. When you go up to 8th class, maybe they will extend this to, let's say, 8 o'clock. That by 8 o'clock, you should be back home, So, rules can be changed depending on the changed circumstances. Okay? Now see, I'm telling this because my intention is कि आपका जो ये base है ना civics को लेके, political science को लेके पूरी तरह से solid हो जाए, ताकि उसके बाद आपसे 8th, 9th, 10th में कोई भी क्वेश्चन में पूछे ना, आपको याद होना चाहिए, this is what Sudhir sir told us in that video. So that foundation I'm trying to lay it very strong with examples, ताकि आपको समझ में पूरे आ जाए, समझ में आ जाए. Social science is a piece of cake, trust me. Okay, जो भी केक का फ्लेवर तुमको पसंद हो, पाइनएप्पल हो, ब्लैक फॉरेस्ट हो, which is my favorite, या जो भी हो, okay, वनीला, स्ट्रॉबेरी तो बोरिंग होते हैं, जो भी हो, it's a piece of cake. Okay, let's move forward. So what we have seen here, governance, government and laws, I hope यहां तक समझ में आ गया. Now we look at these three things which are like examples: traffic management, law and order and services. इसका क्या मतलब है? अरे यार, sorry. Okay. Now, citizens also have a say in the laws and rules governing the society. We will see how this takes place. For example, कोई भी हो, I'll give you a recent example. अभी 2024 का जो बजट हुआ, तुमको इतना समझ में नहीं आएगा, मैं बहुत सिंपल वे से बताता हूं. उसमें क्या किया, जो प्रॉपर्टी को बेचने को लेकर यूनियन बजट में कुछ फेरबदल किए गए, उसको लेकर काफी लोगों में काफी ऑब्जेक्शंस रेज किए कि ये ठीक नहीं है, यू आर काइंड ऑफ यू आर हर्टिंग द मिडिल क्लास, दिस इज नॉट राइट. And the finance minister and the prime minister read those suggestions, listened to those suggestions and said, okay, till such date, we will incorporate your viewpoint also. And even budget mein, jo ki parliament mein pesh kiya gaya tha on the 23rd of July, these changes were made. So what I'm saying is that citizens also have a say in the laws, because the laws are for who? The laws are for the citizens. So if I have a problem with a particular law, I can use different forums. I can use social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, television, newspaper writing in order to articulate कि मेरे को इससे objection क्या है, right? और उसके बारे में कह सकते हैं, and it's quite possible that the persons who are making the laws can actually listen to you and make the necessary changes. So the citizen in a democracy, the citizen becomes very powerful. Okay. Now these are like traffic. For example, यहाँ पर red light है, so यहाँ पर traffic नहीं आ सकता, यहाँ पर clear है, so this particular area में जा रहे हैं, यहाँ पर footpath है, so you see these two women and this man walking across on the footpath. Okay, so this is like the traffic management kind of a thing. Now this seems much more chaotic because लोग आ रहे हैं, जा रहे हैं. This seems much more chaotic compared to the first drawing. Okay, now let's see the different kind of things. So what I mentioned before this, traffic management, law and order, that if anyone is found violating any law, case can be filed by the police against him for indulging in corruption हुआ, या किसी ने कहीं पर theft किया, or any other law which has been broken, he can be booked for by the law and order agency, which is the police. The final thing is about services. Services, bole to, what are they? Like here, the government is laying this particular road, okay, in order to make it easy for the people, the citizens like you and me, to travel on. सड़क बनेगी तभी A से B जगह जाने में आसानी होगी. दूसरी बात, this is the Vande Bharat kind of a train which is going from place A to place B, so that it becomes easier and faster and more convenient to go from place A to place B. So this is again a service which is being provided by the Ministry of Railways, which is the government of India. Ye hua in a hospital or in a clinic, she is checking her blood pressure, right? So that is what is happening. These are our soldiers, the army, who are protecting us. This is the these are called, मैंने I think दूसरे इसमें बोला था, national disaster, it can be relief team or response force, right? NDRF या SDRF बोलते हैं. SDRF मतलब state disaster response force, yeah, national disaster response force. What happens is that in the case of floods, in the case of earthquake, landslide जो भी वायनाड में हुआ, या tsunami, those kind of natural disasters में, cyclone वगैरह में, the NDRF or the SDRF teams are sent there in order to rescue the people. Now this has happened in the case of either a building collapse or an earthquake, right? So these people are taking this person, this citizen, on a stretcher. They are rescuing him from there and sending him to a hospital where he can be looked after by the medical teams. Then of course this is the traffic police taking care of traffic management. This is inside a school where the teacher is teaching you guys. This is the Supreme Court ka photograph in New Delhi, which kind of takes care of delivering justice. आपको न्याय चाहिए तो आप किसी भी तरह की न्यायपालिका के सामने जा सकते हैं. The lower courts, the high court, and then finally the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is the topmost court in the country. Then you have this photograph of a postman coming to deliver letters to you. You have this photograph where people are gone to either a bank or a post office in order to deposit or collect money. So these are all services. These are all services which are provided by different agencies. It could be a government agency, it could be a private agency. Now these are largely government related. A post office, or let's say a State Bank of India or a Canara Bank, this is the post office. This is, let's say, a government school. He is also a government employee. These are also government employees. A government hospital, the army. So these are all the railways thing. This is all government related ones. Okay, yahan tak samajh mein aa gaya? Now, can you identify? I have already done that. What role do you think the government plays in each of these activities? The government is the one which is providing these activities to the citizens in order to make the life of citizens better, easier, and more convenient. So the government runs trains from place A to place B. It appoints traffic policemen in order to regulate the traffic in a particular area. It appoints the postmen and postwomen to deliver letters to your doorstep or money orders to your doorstep. So these are some of the kind of the national disaster ka maine bata diya. In case of any natural calamity, they rush in order to provide relief to the people who are affected. Okay, so these are some of the questions. Now let's come to the more important, the three organs of government. तो ये हो गया. Now इसके बारे में भी बताना है आपको. Okay, now all over the world digital technologies have been transforming the way. Now if you remember, पहले के जमाने में, even if like this morning I paid my electricity bill. How did I pay my electricity bill? I just went to the website, connected it to Google Pay and paid it. So the whole thing happened in 2 minutes, right? पहले के जमाने में ऐसा नहीं होता था. And when I'm saying पहले के जमाने, let's say about 15 years back also, this was not quite the case. You had to physically go to the electricity office, department office, in order to pay the bill. तो होता क्या था? You had to stand in a queue and then wait for your turn and then pay by cash, exact cash. अगर 624 रुपया है तो 624 रुपया लेके जाना पड़ता था. If you give him 650 rupees, he will say change नहीं है, जाओ, kind of a thing, right? So that's how it would be. Now you can pay through any of the UPI payments. You can pay the exact amount and you don't have to even go out of the house for doing that. So all over the world, digital technologies, have been transforming the way societies function in India. Till about 30 years ago, people who wanted to transfer money to a distant relative, now if I want to transfer money to somebody else living in any other part of the world, I can do that in a matter of a minute, right? पहले ऐसा नहीं हो सकता था. तो हमको पहले पोस्ट ऑफिस या बैंक में जाना पड़ता था, वहां से मनी ऑर्डर लेना पड़ता था. एंड मनी ऑर्डर इज, आई मीन, यू मे नॉट बी वेरी फेमिलियर विद. आजकल बहुत ही कम लोग करते हैं. इनफैक्ट आई कैन टेल यू, पीपल ऑफ द अर्लियर जनरेशंस, योर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स और ग्रेट ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स जनरेशन वुड स्टिल बी डूइंग समथिंग लाइक दैट. So money order is that if I want to send, let's say, 1,000 rupees to my sister, okay, so I go and deposit it in the money bank, post office, and I say I want to send a money order, give the address. The postman in that other town, city, will go to my sister's place and he will hand over the 1,000 rupees to my sister, saying that your brother from so and so place has sent you this money. That's how money orders used to work. So उसके लिए करना क्या पड़ता था? You had to literally go to the post office to send a money order after filling up a form. तो वो इस तरह से होता था. लाइन में खड़े होके you have to kind of, इतना भीड़ में you have to wait for your turn. So it would entail a lot of, I would say, wastage of time. And technology से आजकल ऐसा हो गया है कि मनी ऑर्डर क्या सीधा नेट बैंकिंग से या गूगल पे से इमीडिएटली भेज दो. ओके, आजकल जब राखी आती है, you don't have to kind of, you can Google pay the money to your sister, right? You don't have to kind of, physically send money in this form. Okay, then they would queue up at their bank to obtain a demand draft. पहले चेक होता था, नहीं तो डिमांड ड्राफ्ट, डीडी. अपने फादर से पूछो डिमांड ड्राफ्ट क्या होता है, डीडी क्या होता है, और कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखो कि व्हाट डिड यू लर्न अबाउट डिमांड ड्राफ्ट. इट्स अ फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट. आई बिलीव all students of your class should have financial literacy. You should know कि क्या-क्या different kind of instruments होते हैं. Money order, check, demand draft, Google Pay, what are the things, stocks, mutual funds, ये सब क्या होते हैं, आपको इसकी basic understanding होनी चाहिए. Okay, they would queue up at the bank to obtain a demand draft, which would then be sent by post. You would have probably never heard this thing he's saying. Now what has happened is that अभी क्योंकि सारा यूपीआई हो गया है, आजकल काफी सारे उसी तरह के फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड्स भी हो रहे हैं. आपने सुना होगा, इनफैक्ट ओनली डे फॉर yesterday I was told by my wife about how an elderly senior citizen who is a doctor, he was cheated of 63 lakh rupees by fraudsters like this. I don't know whether you have ever seen a web series called Jamtara on Netflix, which kind of talks about these kind of cyber frauds, wherein people can hack your password and get into your system and they can. और आजकल ये OTP को लेकर काफी frauds होते हैं, right? They ask you for your OTP. Some people don't understand it. They very innocently tell the OTP. तो कभी भी जिंदगी में अपने passwords, OTP वगैरह कभी भी किसी के साथ कभी भी share नहीं करना. So this is something which you have to be very careful. Now the challenge in this century is not about earning money. It's about protecting what you earned. Okay, because these kind of cheats are all over the place. These kind of frauds are there who are just waiting to somehow steal your hard-earned money. Okay, your hard-earned money matlab your parents' money, and whenever you will also start earning money. So that's what. So they are usually fined and jailed. वो सब होता नहीं. It's very difficult. So even the police has to kind of upgrade its skills in order to catch these fraudsters. Okay. Now let's come to the three organs of the government. Okay, ये हो गया. Now three organs of government कौन से हैं? पहला है legislature, दूसरा है executive, और तीसरा है जुडिशरी, विच इज द सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट एंड द लोअर कोर्ट्स. ओके, इन तीनों के बीच में अंतर क्या है उसके बारे में समझते हैं. दीज आर कॉल्ड द थ्री ऑर्गन्स ऑफ अ गवर्नमेंट. द पहला है लेजिस्लेचर, विच इज द ऑर्गन दैट मेक्स न्यू लॉज और लेजिस्लेट, विच इज वाई एक एमएलए और एक एमपी, एमपी मतलब मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, एमएलए मतलब मेंबर ऑफ लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली. ओके, एमएलए, इन दोनों को लॉ मेकर भी बोलते हैं, बिकॉज पार्लियामेंट इज अ वन. अगर आपसे कोई प्रश्न पूछे कि विच इज द ऑर्गन ऑफ गवर्नमेंट दैट मेक्स लॉज, आप लॉ समझ के सीधा सुप्रीम कोर्ट मत बोलना. सुप्रीम कोर्ट डज नॉट मेक द लॉज. द लॉज इन द कंट्री आर मेड बाय पार्लियामेंट, which is a legislature. Parliament at the center and legislative assembly at the state level. Like Maharashtra has a legislative assembly. Chhattisgarh has a legislative assembly. Odisha has a legislative assembly. All the states have a legislative assembly. And parliament is one at the center. Samajh mein aa gaya? So that is called the legislature. Sometimes it also updates or removes existing laws, which I just now said. Fair badal ya, because it's a dynamic situation. This is done by an assembly of representatives of the people. We will soon see how the Indian system works. That is, I elect my MP. Like for instance, if you are, let's assume, a voter in Varanasi, okay, तो वहां से नरेंद्र मोदी जी खड़े हैं, तो आप नरेंद्र मोदी को elect करते हैं as the member of parliament from Varanasi, and he will go to Lok Sabha and he will make laws for the country, right? So you elect your member of parliament to represent your cause, your problems, find solutions to your issues in the Lok Sabha, in parliament. Okay, so that's how it works. The executive कौन सा है? The executive is the organ that implements the laws. जो सरकार होती है, अभी जैसे वो एनडीए की सरकार है जहां पर नरेंद्र मोदी प्रधानमंत्री हैं, he is the head of the executive, यानी कि he is the agency that is implementing those laws. जो कानून पार्लियामेंट में या लेजिस्लेचर में पास किए जाते हैं उसको इंप्लीमेंट करने का काम, तो इंप्लीमेंट कीवर्ड है, वो उन कानूनों को इंप्लीमेंट करने का काम करता है एग्जीक्यूटिव. ओके, this includes the head of state, who may be a president, prime minister or chief minister, the ministers or any agency responsible for enforcing law and order. In our example above, that agency is a cyber police. So अगर कोई साइबर क्राइम होता है या दूसरा कोई फॉर इंस्टेंस कोई करप्शन का हो गया, बोलते हैं ना, अरे केस सीबीआई को दे दो. सीबीआई इज अ सेंट्रल ब्यूरो ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन व्हिच विल कम एंड इन्वेस्टिगेट, राइट? सो डिफरेंट, कोई टेरर अटैक हो जाए तो नेशनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसी एनआईए विल कम एंड इन्वेस्टिगेट. तो अलग अलग एजेंसीज अलग अलग तरह के क्राइम्स को इन्वेस्टिगेट करती हैं. कोई ड्रग्स की बात हो तो नार्कोटिक्स ब्यूरो विल कम एंड नार्कोटिक्स कंट्रोल ब्यूरो एनसीबी विल कम एंड इन्वेस्टिगेट. ओके, तो ये प्रेसिडेंट प्राइम मिनिस्टर, इसके बारे में मैं थोड़ी देर में बताता हूं. थर्ड इज द जुडिशरी व्हिच इज अ सिस्टम ऑफ कोर्ट्स व्हिच डिसाइड्स वेदर समवन हैज ब्रोकन द लॉ और नॉट. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि इसने कानून तोड़ा है, जो कानून लेजिस्लेचर ने बनाया था, है ना, लेकिन उसमें आपके खिलाफ कुछ गलत हुआ है, someone has done wrong to you, you can go to the court in order to say that my lord, something wrong has been done, and the court will decide that yes, something wrong has been done to you, and they will fine that person something or send him to jail or do whatever is necessary in that particular case. So that is done by the judiciary. So legislature, executive and judiciary are the three organs of government with very clear defined roles, roles. Okay, उन तीनों, वो तीन क्या क्या करेंगे उसके बारे में क्लैरिटी दी गई है भारतीय कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, अंडर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया. ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट द जुडिशरी डस. सो ये हो गया. नाउ तो ये हो गया. एंड देन now this is what I wanted to explain to you. So what happens out here? What happens is that you have an MP, member of parliament, like Lok Sabha, like Varanasi से मैं जैसे मैंने बताया, अमेठी से KL Sharma, रायबरेली से राहुल गांधी. So different places से different लोग are elected. MLA is at the state level, which is member of legislative assembly. So for instance, there would be, like for instance in Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu, the chief minister, is the MLA from Kuppam constituency, right? So that is the constituency, the assembly constituency of Chandrababu Naidu in Andhra Pradesh, right? So at the local level, that will be the way it will work out. Then उसके नीचे आता है कॉर्पोरेटर, जैसे सिटीज में है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हैदराबाद में है, हैदराबाद में देयर विल बी समथिंग कॉल्ड द ग्रेटर हैदराबाद म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन. लाइक मेरा कहने का मतलब यह है कि मेरे सामने की स्ट्रीट लाइट काम नहीं कर रही, मेरे घर के पास जो रोड आता है वो रोड अच्छा कंडीशन में नहीं है, तो मैं किसको कंप्लेन करूंगा? क्या मैं अपने यहाँ का जो एमपी है, एमपी को कांटेक्ट करूंगा? नो। एमपी क्या एक स्ट्रीट लाइट का बल्ब चेंज कराएगा क्या? नो। एमएलए कराएगा क्या? नो। इट विल बी डन बाय द कॉर्पोरेटर. The corporator is the person who is at the local level. So this is at three different levels. MP is supposed to make laws for the entire country. MLA is supposed to make laws for the entire state. But these kind of civic issues at the local level, सड़क ठीक नहीं है, बिजली नहीं आ रहा है, पानी ड्रेनेज का प्रॉब्लम है, पानी लीक हो रहा है, that all will be dealt at the corporator level, which is the lowest level of governance. रूरल एरियाज में, इसके बारे में हम अगले 2 चैप्टर्स में डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे, विल बी द पंचायत विच विल बी हेडेड बाय द सरपंच. ओके. द प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज आल्सो एन एमपी बिकॉज सेंट्रल लेवल पे है. द चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ ए स्टेट विल आल्सो बी एन एमएलए. ओके, इस बात का ध्यान रखना. आप करस्पॉन्डिंग समझ लो, ये सेंट्रल लेवल पे है, ये स्टेट लेवल पे है, ये बिल्कुल रूरल लेवल पे है, ये अर्बन लेवल पे है. सो दैट्स हाउ इट वर्क्स. सो आई होप दिस चार्ट से आपको ये समझ में आ गया. दिस हाउ I have made it. Now, if you say these 3 organs must be kept separate, although they interact with each other to work together. So these are 3 separate organs, but they need to interact with each other ताकि एक तरह का तालमेल बना रहे. This separation is called the separation of powers. That is, तीनों के बारे में कि जुडिशरी का काम यह है, लेजिस्लेचर का काम यह है, एग्जीक्यूटिव का काम यह है. एग्जीक्यूटिव लेजिस्लेचर का काम करके वो लॉस नहीं बना सकता. नरेंद्र मोदी कैन से दैट ओ मेरे को ये कानून बनाना है, बट फॉर द कानून टू बिकम ए रियलिटी, पार्लियामेंट विच इज लेजिस्लेचर हैज टू पास इट. फॉर एग्जांपल, द प्रीवियस गवर्नमेंट, द प्रीवियस नरेंद्र मोदी गवर्नमेंट between 2019 and 2024 wanted to introduce the farm laws, but there was opposition to it and the prime minister took it back. Okay, so the final power is with the parliament finally, though there was, in this case there was opposition from outside also. But in any case it is the parliament which has the ultimate power, final power to decide on कि ये कानून बनना चाहिए, ये कानून नहीं बनना चाहिए. Okay, of course it also depends on the majority. If the ruling power has the party as a majority, they can say ये चाहिए तो ये चाहिए. Okay, so that's how it works. It is intended to provide a system of checks and balances, separation of powers, ताकि अगर कोई गलत कानून बन जाए, I can go to the court and court can say that no, ये ठीक नहीं है, and it can strike it down. ऐसा भी कई केसेस में हुआ है. It can strike it down and then the government will have to either take it back or make changes in that law in order to ensure that कि वो ठीक है. अगर गवर्नमेंट को लगे कि ये सही कानून बना है and they present it again in parliament and pass it, then it will remain the law, right? This means that each organ of the government can check what the other is doing. So इन तीनों के बीच में checks and balances है. That's how this thing कि everybody is किसी के पास what is called absolute power नहीं है कि मैं शक्तिमान हूं, मैं बाहुबली हूं, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं चलता है. Everybody will control the other person ताकि कोई भी एक बड़ा does not become complete. We are not, after all, it's a democracy. Remember that. This is not a monarchy. कोई राजा नहीं है कि राजा ही सब कुछ डिसाइड करेगा. It's not a dictatorship. It's not like Hitler in Germany during World War II. कि whatever he decides, it will be like that. We are a democracy where people decide, where people's power has the final say. Which is why I gave the example. The government also listens to the people and therefore makes the changes in the budget. Okay, जो बजट मैंने बनाया उसमें कुछ लोगों ने कुछ फेरबदल की मांग की, मुझे लगा कि हाँ ठीक है, तो मैंने भी उस सजेशन को इनकॉर्पोरेट किया. That is how a democracy is supposed to function, where you listen to the other person. Okay, ये नहीं सोचने का कि मैंने कर लिया तो मैं कुछ भी करूंगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Okay, that's a sign of a good government. This means that each organ of the government can check what the other is doing and restore balance if the one organ acts beyond its expected role. Now, ये तो हो गया. This is a class activity that you can do. Now, any government operates at 2 levels. One is local and other is national. I briefly told you about it. अभी detail में बता दें. In many countries, including India, it functions at 3 levels: local, state, or regional and national. Each level deals with different matters. What I explained to you just now, street light वाला example के साथ. Okay, So to give you an example, actually यहाँ पे वही दिया है. If a bulb in your home is not lighting up, you will first check the bulb, switch, fuse, etc. If that does not work, you may call an electrician. If it is found that the problem is not within your home, you may need to go to the electricity board and file a complaint. These are also 3 levels of dealing with the problem. So they have given a nice example to help you understand. ठीक है ना? तो यहाँ पर national level, state level, local level. What I explained to you, see, this is how it works. In India, we have local governments, state governments, and central or union governments. Imagine that the following heavy rain a few days, there is a flood in a part of a district. If it is not too severe, the local municipal authority सब ठीक कर देंगे. लेकिन अगर बाढ़ बहुत ज्यादा है, then you may have to call the state disaster response force. कि बाढ़ इतनी आ गई है कि मेरे घर में पूरा पानी बह गया है. My grandparents are not able to move out. They need to go to the hospital. We are in trouble. So somebody save us. You will call up or put it on social media and the state disaster response force will come. लेकिन अगर जैसे वायनाड में लैंडस्लाइड, जैसे सुनामी हुआ था तमिलनाडु केरला में, उतना बड़ा हो, then the national disaster response force will also come in. Then it becomes like a national calamity. So if it involves several towns and villages, the state government will step in. But if it's a massive flood affecting vast areas, the central government will also send relief supplies, army. These are 3 levels again. I hope these 2 examples के साथ आपको पूरी तरह से समझ में आ गया है. Okay. Many of our institutions, now this is talking about the motto, India का तो है सत्यमेव जयते, that is truth alone prevails or truth always prevails. सुप्रीम कोर्ट का मोटो है यतो धर्मत्सो जय है, that is जहां पे धर्म है वहां पर हमेशा जीत होती है. So धर्म की जीत, धर्म means something which is absolutely right. It's not, I mean, not talking about religion, dharm, not in the sense of religion alone. It's about being absolutely right and doing the right thing. So, इसके बाद वाला पेज में we will see the now इसको देखते हैं. You have the judiciary, you have the Supreme Court, which is the highest court. Supreme Court ने बोल दिया तो final है. उसके नीचे है high courts in different states. There will be a Telangana High Court, there will be a Madras High Court, there will be a Bombay High Court, there will be a Gujarat High Court. So there are high courts in different states of India. National level, उससे पहले यहाँ पे मैं आपको ये दिखाता हूँ. Now you see, you have a system where you have the president who is known as the nominal head. Okay, the executive is led by the president who is the nominal head. Now the president may swear in the prime minister, but असली पावर जो है वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर के हाथ में होती है. Similarly, at the state level, governor appoints, I mean, he kind of swears in the chief minister, but असली पावर chief minister के हाथ में होती है. He is the executive head. Similarly, the prime minister is the executive head of the country, right? So legislature में you have 2 houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha is directly elected. That is, people of Varanasi elect Narendra Modi as their MP. He is a member of the Lok Sabha. People of Hyderabad elect Asaduddin Owaisi as their MP. He is a member of the Lok Sabha, right? People of Shivaganga elect Karti Chidambaram as their MP. He becomes an MP of the Lok Sabha. But there is a system of Rajya Sabha also, which is elected by the MLAs of that particular state assembly. For example, there would be Rajya Sabha MPs also. So Rajya Sabha से किसी को भेजना है तो वहां के जो MLAs हैं वो चुनते हैं. एक कोटा सिस्टम होता है कि how many MPs, Rajya Sabha MPs can be elected from a particular state. अलग अलग स्टेट्स के अलग अलग रहते हैं, तो उसमें से वो चुनते हैं और वो राज्यसभा को भेजते हैं. सो लोकसभा एंड राज्यसभा 2 हाउसेस हैं पार्लियामेंट की. Similarly, at the state level also, some states have only assembly, some states have state assembly, जिसको विधानसभा बोलते हैं हिंदी में. Some states have 2, which is called the legislative council या विधान परिषद. विधान परिषद, विधान सभा, which is legislative assembly. Some states have what is called the 2 houses, the bicameral structure, where they have Vidhan Parishad. Like Telangana has Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, like Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Andhra Pradesh also has 2. So Karnataka also has 2. So you have different states which have different things. Uttar Pradesh also has 2. But there are certain states which do not have a legislative council. So that is one thing. Then nominal means only in name, the असली power किसके पास है, जो यहाँ पे साइड में लिखा है. Okay, so what you have here is that President Draupadi Murmu she swore in Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister of India, but the real power is in the hands of the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers. They take the real decisions. That's how it works out there. Okay. So if you see, जो अभी मैंने बोला प्राइम मिनिस्टर और इसके बारे में, now this is the Twitter account of the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. This is the Twitter account. So this makes it, he's at the central level. State level, if I have to take an example, take MK Stalin, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. MK Stalin, Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so this is the Twitter account of the Chief Minister. So this gives you, so this is like his window. No, if you want to raise an issue and you want the Prime Minister to know, or you want MK Stalin to know about it, you can tag them on social media or write letters to them on their email ID, and you can bring it to their notice. So what happens is that the governance, जिसके बारे में मैंने बताया, the process of taking decisions, it becomes a responsive system. That is, they read, oh, ये प्रॉब्लम है. पहले क्या होता था, लेटर लिखो, कोई पढ़ता नहीं था, 4 दिन 5 दिन बाद मिलता था. अभी ऐसा नहीं है. Immediately at the click of a button. For example, the Prime Minister follows me on Twitter, right? I follow him, he follows me. So I can even send a direct message saying that, okay, this is the issue which I want to bring to your notice. MK Stalin follows me, I follow him. So I can raise this issue with the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu and bring something to their notice, and they can say that, okay, I agree with you, this will be done, or they can say, I disagree with your suggestion, sorry to say, this cannot be done. So there can be an immediate kind of a response. So this is at the central, this is at the state level. Prime Minister, Chief Minister. Let me take one more example. Now this is the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, about who I just now spoke about. So when the budget is presented, people can tag Nirmala Sitharaman. They can, for instance, she follows me on Twitter, I follow her. So if I want something to reach the finance ministers, bring something to her attention, I can tag her, I can send her a direct message, and this is how you reach out to her. The idea is to be responsive. This is TRB Raja, who is the Industries Minister of Tamil Nadu. The same thing. So he's at the state level, she's at the central level. So that's how the entire system of governance actually functions. Okay. So now the central level deals with ministries like defense. If I am in Karnataka, I cannot be involved with army ko kahan deploy karna hai. That's not my job. That's a job of the central government. So there is something called union list, there's something called state list, there's something called concurrent list. So 3 lists बनाए हैं. Union list is only subjects which only the central government can deal with. State list is only for the states. Concurrent list में दोनों कर सकते हैं, right? Like a subject like education is in the state list, also in the concurrent list. Okay, ये थोड़ा आगे का बात है अभी, but ये topics आपको याद रखने पड़ेंगे. Foreign affairs will be done by the center. Atomic energy, center. Communications, center. Finance, currency, paisa, center. Interstate commerce, center. Education can be done both by the state and the center. Education is both a central subject and a state subject because it comes in the concurrent list. National policies, national this thing. Law and order, state level pay. Like for instance, Chhattisgarh ka law and order will be the responsibility of the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister and his government, right? Then there are different laws. Health, state subject. Education, दोनों में. Agriculture भी दोनों में हो सकता है because national agriculture policy भी होती है. Irrigation, local government, etc. Okay, so this is how the powers are divided between the two. This thing. Okay, now there's a small bit about, one page about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the former president of India. Now, he was born in Rameshwaram in 1931. He was known as the missile man of India. He was a major nuclear scientist. He played a role in India's space program, missile program, and nuclear capabilities. He served as the 11th president from 2002 to 2007. He was known as the People's President. Dr. Kalam was known as the people's president. Okay, he inspired millions with his humility, dedication to social causes. His book Wings of Fire is something which you should read. It's a very, very highly inspirational book. You should read that. And he tirelessly encouraged young Indians. He basically, inke quotes which are very good, to dream big. Dreaming is important. So he played a very important role because he was also a teacher. So he played an extremely important role in inspiring young Indians. Now let's look at some of his quotes. Look at the sky. We are not alone. The whole universe is friendly to us and conspires only to give the best to those who dream and work. सपने देखना जरूरी है और उसके बाद उन सपनों को हासिल करने के लिए मेहनत करना जरूरी है. समझे? दूसरा बात, इफ यू फेल, ये बात सुनो, जरा ध्यान से पढ़ो. इफ यू फेल, नेवर गिव अप. छोड़ो मत, बिकॉज FAIL मीन्स फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट इन लर्निंग. कि पहली बारी तुम ठोकर खा के नीचे गिरोगे तो उसका मतलब है तुम उस ठोकर से कुछ सीखे हो. That you learn something from the mistake that you committed. End is not the end. In fact, END means effort never dies. Even if that effort did not succeed, you learned from that mistake. I did not do this. If I had done that, I would have succeeded. So you learn from that effort. If you get no as an answer, remember NO means next opportunity. So let us be positive. To succeed in your mission, you must have single-minded devotion to your goal. If you decide कि मेरे को क्लास में फर्स्ट आना है, तो दुनिया की कोई ताकत तुमको क्लास में फर्स्ट आने से नहीं रोक सकती है अगर तुम मेहनत करोगे. So dream big about wanting to excel in everything, that you want to come first in the race, you want to win the first prize in the music competition, in the painting competition, even if it is a lemon spoon race, you want to come first. It does not matter if you come second, but you should aspire to come first. You work towards that, and if you come second, you learn from what the person who came first did. उसने ऐसा क्या किया जो तुमने गलती की, and next time don't repeat that mistake. ड्रीम इज नॉट दैट विच यू सी वाइल स्लीपिंग. जो सपने रात को सोते वक्त देखते हैं उसको सपने नहीं कहते हैं. सपने वो होते हैं दैट डज नॉट लेट यू स्लीप, दैट यू कीप अवेक. आई वांट टू डू दिस, दिस इज माय ड्रीम फॉर माई सेल्फ, दिस इज माय ड्रीम फॉर माय पेरेंट्स, आई वांट टू मेक देम फील प्राउड. दैट्स व्हाट यू शुड ड्रीम फॉर. आई से टू माय सीनियर स्टूडेंट्स ऑलवेज, देयर इज नो फन इन being mediocre in life. Mediocre का मतलब समझते हो ना? Mediocre का मतलब अरे वो क्या है यार, वो आलतू फालतू है, क्लास में फर्स्ट वगैरह नहीं आता, फर्स्ट 10 में भी नहीं आता है, ऐसे ही जाता है, ऐसे ही आता है. He is not कि लोग तुमको कंपटीशन भी ना माने तो ऐसी जिंदगी का फायदा क्या? There is no fun. I always say, there is no fun in always clapping for others. You should clap for others, but ऐसी जिंदगी भी मत बिताओ where you are only clapping for others. You would want to be in a position where people are clapping for you. है ना? मजा तो उसी में आएगा ना. तो किसी भी चीज में always try to excel, take part and give it your best. That's what your dream should be. If 4 things are followed, having a great aim, acquiring knowledge, hard work and perseverance, then anything can be achieved. अगर ये 4 चीजें हो, okay, निशाना हो कि मेरे को अर्जुन को मछली की आंख के अंदर ही दिखता था और कुछ नहीं दिखता था. मनु भाकर की स्टोरी पढ़िए, जिसने अभी 2 ब्रॉन्ज जीते हैं पेरिस ओलंपिक्स में, राइट? एम शुड बी देयर, एंड देन यू एक्वायर नॉलेज मींस आई गेट ट्रेन्ड प्रॉपरली, वर्क हार्ड फॉर इट एंड देन लगे रहो, उस पर लगे रहो, छोड़ो मत कि मैं ये हासिल करके ही रहूंगा या रहूंगी. देन एनीथिंग कैन बी अचीव्ड, कुछ भी पॉसिबल है. नाउ आगे चलते हैं डेमोक्रेसी के बारे में. डेमोक्रेसी वर्ड कैसे आया? आई एम फीलिंग टायर्ड. ओके, डेमोक्रेसी शब्द कहां से आया? डेमोक्रेसी शब्द 2 ग्रीक वर्ड से आया है. ग्रीक ओके, 2 ग्रीक वर्ड्स. पहला ग्रीक वर्ड है डेमोस, दूसरा ग्रीक वर्ड है क्रेटोस. डेमोस का मतलब है पीपल, हम लोग. क्रेटोस का मतलब है रूल. ओके, सो व्हाट डज इट मीन? रूल ऑफ द पीपल. सो डेमोक्रेसी, पहले अब्राहम लिंकन का कोट है ना, इट इज ऑफ द पीपल, लोगों का है, बाय द पीपल क्योंकि हम इलेक्ट करते हैं, एंड फॉर द पीपल यानी कि लोगों के लिए है. सो डेमोक्रेसी का मतलब ही है रूल ऑफ द पीपल यानी कि लोगों का शासन. बट कैन ऑल पीपल एक्चुअली रूल? ऐसा नहीं हो सकता ना. यू नीड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स, जो अभी मैंने बताया, एमपी, एमएलए, कॉर्पोरेटर वगैरह, राइट? It is clearly not possible. Imagine there is a problem that your class wants to bring to your attention of your school's principal. Maybe there is something wrong with the classroom or with the school's infrastructure, or perhaps you would like to propose a certain date for a field trip. Now, पूरी क्लास तो नहीं जा सकती, तो आप अपने क्लास मॉनिटर को भेजेंगे, या क्लास मॉनिटर या क्लास के दो मॉनिटर्स हो सकते हैं, डेप्यूटी मॉनिटर हो सकता है, दो लोगों को भेजेंगे टू टॉक टू द प्रिंसिपल कि हम ये करना चाहते हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि हमको एक नया ब्लैक बोर्ड मिले, ग्रीन बोर्ड मिले क्लासरूम के अंदर. तो उसको रिप्रेजेंट के लिए पूरे 30 बच्चे थोड़ी जाएंगे, दो बच्चों को भिजाएंगे इन ऑर्डर टू रिप्रेजेंट टू द प्रिंसिपल. तो उसी के चलते हुए यू हैव द मेंबर्स ऑफ लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली, आई हैव टॉट यू ऑल दिस. यू हैव द मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट और एमपी, एंड दीज पीपल डिस्कस द लॉज. और इसी तरह से, like in any modern democracy, India is a representative democracy. India is what is called a representative, यानी कि हम representatives को चुनते हैं. कैसे चुनते हैं? चुनाव में, इलेक्शन में. This is a photograph. इस बारी जो चुनाव हुआ elections 2024 में. That's my wife who will teach you mathematics. That's my daughter who is doing her engineering. Okay, so this is how you elect. I mean, the lady at the polling booth में मेरे को almost nail polish की तरह पूरा blue भर दिया. Okay, that's why you, in comparison to theirs, you see मेरा तो पूरा भरा पड़ा है. So you vote in the election because you want to elect your representatives. कि मुझे लगता है कि ये मुझे अच्छा represent कर सकता है लोकसभा में, ये मुझे अच्छा represent कर सकता है विधानसभा में. Okay, then India is therefore, like इसमें भी you seeing the lady is putting the ink on the finger. क्यों डालते हैं? ताकि वो डाले तो ऐसा ना हो कि मैं फिर से आ जाऊं. तो it is proof that you have already voted. ऐसा ना हो कि मैं इसको, अगर ये मिट जाता, मैं अगेन आके फिर से वोट कर सकता हूं, धांधली होगी, तो that will be cheating, right? That's why that ink is put. So some 970 million voters in 2024. That is 97 crore. All citizens above the age of 18, यानी कि about 7 साल के बाद you will be eligible to cast your vote. So इसीलिए आपको जानकारी होनी चाहिए. ये नहीं कि व्हाट्सएप पे ये पढ़ो वो पढ़ो और ऐसे वोट करके आ जाओ. Your vote makes a difference. कभी मालूम है आपको, कई इलेक्शंस एक वोट से लोग जीतते हैं, हारते हैं, एक वोट से. तो इसीलिए हर एक वोट जरूरी होता है. Every vote matters. So again स्कूल के लेवल का एग्जांपल दिया है that your class is planning to go for a picnic. There are two possible places, A and B. The class discusses the pros and cons, means advantages and disadvantages of both, going to both places, the distance from the school, the time, cost, availability of basic facilities. वहां पे boating कर सकते हैं, वहां पे खाने को मिलेगा, all those kind of things. Okay, it becomes difficult to arrive at a decision. So your teacher decides that voting can solve the problem. What I gave you the example पहले से. You know, you decide, you vote. कितने लोगों को A जगह पे जाना है, कितने लोगों को B जगह पे जाना है. अगर 30 में से 16 लोगों को A जगह A पे जाना हो, तो everybody will go to A. Then B people cannot say कि मेरे को तो B में जाना है. No. Then majority opinion matters. अगर 15-15 हो जाए, then teacher will cast the casting vote. Teacher का जो मन होगा, that will become the casting vote. Okay, that's how it matters. I mean, like लोकसभा में अगर दोनों गवर्नमेंट और ऑपोजिशन का एक जैसा हो जाए, then speaker puts the casting vote. This process is called voting. This is a case of direct democracy. So the second part, representative democracy, then it is a direct democracy that you directly are part of the decision making process. Okay, then the term grassroots democracy refers to a system that enables and encourages the participation of ordinary citizen. That grassroots का मतलब है जमीन पर, यानी कि हम सब जमीन पर हैं, हम लोग डेमोक्रेसी में भाग ले रहे हैं. सो इंडिया इज ऑल्सो नोन एज ए ग्रासरूट्स डेमोक्रेसी. इट्स अ डायरेक्ट डेमोक्रेसी, representative democracy and grassroots democracy. Okay, so that's how it works, and grassroots में कॉर्पोरेटर, एमएलए, एमपी हम सभी चुनावों, अलग अलग चुनावों में भाग लेते हैं. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, खत्म होने से पहले so ये हो गया. इसके बाद this is the revision notes for you. इस पे देख लो and then you should not have any problem. Question and answers we will do in a separate video. So I hope आपको पूरी तरह से समझ में आ गया. ये जरूर करना, share the videos, subscribe and press the bell button, because if you want the videos on time और आपको notification मिल जाए then okay, such and such video of science, such and such video of Hindi has been published, then you will get a notification कि हो गया है. then अगर कल एग्जाम है, आपको आज ही वीडियो चाहिए, ऐसा ना हो कि एग्जाम खत्म होने के बाद आप आराम से लेट लतीफ होके वीडियो देखें. तो आई होप I've done justice to it. My throat is aching. I've explained it in great detail with lots of examples. I'm sure, I'm hopeful that you have understood this nicely. Now we will go in the next 2 chapters into rural governance and urban cities governance. Okay, that will be in the next 2 chapters of civics. Okay, tata, bye bye. Thank you very much. Namaskar.